Hey, what's up, y'all? My friends, thank you for joining me tonight on my drive home from work. I'd like to address the league and tell you what it means to me. I first moved down to Toms River from Bergen County to finish up third grade. No friends, just two brothers. First person I met in fourth grade when I got down here was a kid named Joe Insalaco. Me and Joe Insalaco, we hit it off pretty quickly. Sleeping over each other's house. Well, I slept over his house. I had a stupid apartment. No room, so nobody ever really came over in Toms River. Everybody lived in Beechwood. So, I'd hang out at his house pretty much every weekend. We'd go roller skating. We'd be chasing the girls. We looked out for each other. We pretty much were inseparable. We were in class together pretty much every year from the day we started fourth grade until the day we graduated high school. Come sixth grade, I met a couple other guys. A kid like Tom Coleman, Rich Bruno, Dave Jackson. We used to hang out. He used to come over to Joe's house. We used to play football on the street. All these guys, we lived up and down the block from each other. So it was pretty easy to see each other anytime they wanted. And then I came by on weekends. Rich Bruno. Here's a kid who had it all. He had the sweet car when we got to high school. He had that black Thunderbird. He listened to Run DMC. He listened to the Beastie Boys. He had all the tapes, all the cassettes. He had everything. Yeah, but one thing he always had was your back. He always had a 10 spot when you needed it. And Rich Bruno was always looking out for you. We get to high school, and here we are. We're all still together. Causing trouble, jumping fences, playing manhunt, covering each other's back. There was one day in high school on the football team, we were in the locker room, me and Joe and whoever else was standing there, and we were making fun, and we always make fun of his mom. Yeah, your mom, that was the thing to do. So one time I said to this kid, Keith Erickson, I said, yo, your mom. And he grabbed me by the throat, and he started choking the shit out of me. Now, I felt all right because I knew somebody was standing right behind me. That was my boy Joe Insalaco. So I took my knee, and I took Keith Erickson's face, and I rammed it into my knee 3 times until the kid let go. And safe to say, I whooped his ass. But if I hadn't, you're damn right, Joe Insalaco would have been right over my back, punching that bitch right in the face. Why? It's because you have your boy's back. Every day, no matter what we do, we go to the club, we go to the city, we go to school, whether it be homework, whether it be girls, whether it be problems, bullies, didn't matter, because we all had each other's back. Every single one of us in this league here can safely say that one another of us has had their back once in their life. Once we got out of high school, we went to OCC, played a little flag football. When we got out of OCC 2 years later, real jobs, real life, our kind of lives went separate ways. I hadn't seen you guys in probably a good 3 to 4 years, maybe more than that. No phone call. I mean, we didn't have cell phones or nothing. Just lives went different ways. Got a job, met a girl, different friends, different lives. One thing never changed was where we stood with each other. One day, and you can call it fate, you can call it destiny. And I'll tell you one thing my coach said, the football coach said, Mr. Bossa said to us, he said, look around you all. We all looked around to each other. And he said, you see the guys next to you and the guy over there and the guy over there? He said, these are the guys you live and die with. And he was right. These are the guys you live and die with. So these 4 years pass, I'm doing a couple jobs, and I met my wife, and, started hanging out, and I'm down at Clancy's, lived in Beechwood. I'm down at Clancy's, right? I never go to Clancy's. I don't shop there. So I walk into Clancy's for one stupid thing one day, and guess who I run into? Joe's dad. Hadn't seen Joe in 4 years. Joe's dad's like, "Hey, Scotty," and I'm like, "Oh, Mr. Insulaco, what's up?" We used to throw craps in the frickin' basement. Joe gave me a job at his parking lot, the grandfather's parking lot, right out of high school, parking cars, kicking ass on the beach, playing volleyball, doing our thing. So then, like I said, college came around, and our lives went in different directions. So I run to Joe's dad. He says, "You don't talk to Joe all that much anymore, do you?" And I said, "You know what? You're right. I hadn't seen Joe in a while." I said, "I should call him someday." He's like, "Yeah, that'd be great." He said, "It's too bad." I said, "Yeah, you're right." So next thing I knew, I'm on the phone with Joe Insulaco, and I'm like, "Son of a bitch, how you doing?" He's like, "All right." So now Joe's life and everybody else's went a different direction too. They met a couple other guys like Jack Serbo. And he's like, "Yo, we're going to clubs. Why don't you hang out with us? Come out." So I'm like, "Yeah, definitely, man." So started hanging out with the boys again. Here we are. How time comes full circle. Whereas fourth grade, hang out with these guys. Real life comes along. We grow up, and then right again, who's got your back? Here's your boys. I had your back all your life. So now they're like, "Yo, let's join this football league," and because you guys already been in it for a long time. And I'm like, "Sure, I don't know anything about football, but shit, I'll join with yous." So I come over to Dave's house, drafts at Dave's house. The year Peyton Manning threw 50 touchdowns. And I run into guys again like Rich and Tom. And here we are, back in the picture again. And everybody's lives changed. We got girlfriends, we got married, we got kids. I met Jen at my wedding. I invited you guys to the wedding. I met Jen. And with the football league, I meet Sean. He's all your boys. I meet Sean. And guys like BJ are now in the picture. And your life changes, but the one thing that stays a constant, the one thing I never had in my life, ever since I was a little kid, was something that was a constant. By the time I moved to Toms River for 4th grade, I already had moved 5 times. After 4th grade, I had already moved another 8 times before we really settled down, and then we got on our own. But the one thing that became a constant in my life, and it wasn't until I was 25 years old, was the fact that my boys were still there. I still had guys like Joe, Tom, Dave, Rich. No matter how long it had been since we had talked, they were my boys. Now, what this league means to me, it's not about fantasy. It's not about football players watching the games on Sunday. It represents that connection, that bond between brotherhood. The guys who you live and die with, the guys that got your back since you're a little kid. That's what this league means to me. The chance to relive, not to relive, but to keep alive that bond. And that bond will never die. Yeah, sure, we bicker, we have fights, we have different opinions, we get crazy, but no matter what, there's always somebody there. There's always one of us there to pick each other up and to get our back. And that's the one thing you count on every single day. Now, whatever may happen to the league next year, whether we stop it, whether we continue it, the one thing I want to see is I want to see all of us make up, all of us get along, just like we have every single day of our lives, have each other's back. Because if you can't count on family, you can't count on anybody. And that's how I see you guys. Ever since I've been 8 years old, you guys have been the one constant thing in my life. So we need to put our differences aside, and we need to see the real big picture here. And I know I can trust all you to do that. Not a single day goes by where I can't stand proudly and say, "Yeah, that dude's my friend. That's my boy right there." All right, guys. Before I crash and burn and die here, I'm going to sign off. But time heals all wounds. I want to see everybody back next year. All right, later, y'all.